immigration system must be linked to skills and training here in the UK so that no industry is allowed to rely solely on immigration to fill its skills shortages.
And there are a lot of things that they're going to be looking at for you to not have indefinite leave to remain.
That the system must support integration and community cohesion, including new rules on the ability to speak English and the contribution that people can bring to the UK.
When you close your eyes and you say immigrant, what sort of person are you looking at?
Overseas recruitment for care jobs has since dropped, but it must not surge like that again. And it's time we address the domestic issues, including a proper fair pay agreement to show respect to people who do some of the most important jobs in the country.
So the biggest regret that I have after I've ever said anything that happens after I've warned is, I told you so. So the UK government is tightening its screws. It's closing in on indefinite leave to remain. It's phasing out the care worker visa, and it's, according to them, reshaping the face of immigration. What a bold word to call it. So today, let me break down the UK's immigration white paper, what it says, who it affects, and what might still be there to protect people like you listening to this video. I mean, that is if you are an immigrant. So let's get this straight. This isn't just a law yet. It's a white paper, a policy proposal. But in UK politics, the white papers are not a joke. Most of them become laws. So if you're here on a skilled worker visa, you need to know what's coming for you and run. Anyway, jokes. So the government is saying net migration is too high, too many people and too fast. Right. So in 2023 alone, net migration was over 900,000. I mean, even if it was your country, honestly, you'd be worried. 900,000 people who probably don't share the same culture or the same values with you. So you get to be very anxious about the kind of people you're bringing into your country. I'm not saying that I'm anti-immigration, but we have to be very cognizant of the people's feelings as well. In 2024, more than 43,000 people crossed into the country irregularly. Now, the white paper says in a new way they're going to be a bit stricter. So these are the changes, the 5 key changes. Number 1, indefinite leave to remain to be changed from 5 years to 10 years. So if you're planning to settle in the UK, you should listen closely. The government wants to increase the minimum residency of indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years for some routes, or most routes, let me say. But here's what they don't always tell you, right? So if you came into the UK as a skilled worker before the 4th of April 2024, you can still qualify under the 5-year route if you meet what they call transitional rules. So let's put an example. So imagine you arrived in the UK in 2022 as a care worker. You were told that after 5 years of hard work, paying taxes, and also having a clean record, you may have what they call permanent residence, which is called indefinite leave to remain. So for a person who came in 2022, that's 2027. So that promise is still standing today, as long as you have met these conditions. 1, you need to have stayed in the country continuously working, right? You also need to not have broken any residency rules. You also need to meet what they call salary and language thresholds. And also you need to have passed the life in the UK test. So your clock started before the new laws came into place. So you're part of what they call transitional protection. If you came after the 4th of April 2024, I just have to say, it's sad to say you have to wait for 10 years to settle. And that's a huge shift. So number 2 is that they are closing the care worker visa route by 2028. They are calling it a temporary solution that's outlived its purpose. The government wants to permanently close the care worker visa route by 2028. That means no more entry via this route, and no family sponsorships, and for those in the country, a harder path to stay long term. So this hits communities like Nigeria, Zimbabwe, India, Ghana, and the Philippines, who filled NHS shortages when the UK needed them the most. Number 3, employers will pay more to hire immigrants. The immigration skills charge will increase by 32%. This makes it harder for small employers like care homes and local businesses to sponsor international workers. It also means that fewer job offers, fewer opportunities and sponsorship, and shrinking pipeline for low to mid-skilled jobs. And you know what that means? It means that if the UK does not incentivize in a way to bring more income to the local people that actually invites local people, it means there's going to be a job crisis in the country. I mean, vacancy crisis, I don't know what you call it, but there's going to be a crisis in small companies that can't hire because the locals are not taking the jobs. So it's going to be a very tricky one in terms of policy. So they have to compensate in a way through increasing their salary thresholds. I mean, just pay more to attract local people. Number 4, graduate visas will be shortened. Right now, the international students get like 2 years of work after graduation, but under the new proposal, it could be cut to 18 months or even scrapped entirely. So if you came from Zimbabwe, Ghana, or Pakistan, you spent 30,000 on tuition, you might finish your studies and be told, pick up, time's up. This is the UK for you. Number 5, spouses must speak better English to join you. Now, I know most people would say, oh, English is not a measure of intelligence. To be fair with you, I understand that, and I really do understand. But for some reason, the UK is not like any other country where you can speak your broken English or your English that is hard to understand, and they'll say, okay, you can go scot-free. They still do have a problem with understanding people who have passed through universities or those who have gone to A schools. They still have a problem with understanding what they'll be saying. So their language, their country, and their rules. So if today you apply for basic English, they'll ask for what they call an A1 level. So that is for anyone who is trying to get into the UK. So the proposal is now raising that there has to be a B1 or higher. That means tougher tests, more stress, and more blocked reunifications. Imagine this. So you are having your wife in Nigeria or in Zimbabwe, and you're working hard here. She wants to join you, but she can't pass the new test. The system has just split your family because your wife cannot do the test right. So it means that slowly the UK is diverting from what they said in their policy to say they are a family-friendly country. So basically, your family is welcomed in this country as long as they speak English that satisfies us. I mean, it's their country, right? Their rules, right? But then let's also ask this question: who is safe and who is at risk? So let's talk about safety nets, right? So if you're already in the UK under the skilled worker visa and you started before the 4th of April 2024, you are under what they call transitional protection. You can still apply for your indefinite leave to remain in 5 years, but only if you meet these conditions that I've said before. Now, to conclude, this episode isn't about fear, it's about facts. If you're already here, you still have a shot at indefinite leave to remain in 5 years. Know your rights and also protect your timeline, right? But if you're coming now, prepare for longer waits, tighter tests, and a few chances. So the immigration game is changing, and they're now just closing the doors. They are changing the locks. I told you this was coming, and I'll say it again. I told you so. So this thing is something that we need to really take a look at. And also, like I said always, skill up. Find some other skill you can have besides just being a carer. You should look for some other opportunities that can give you a long-lasting stay, because this is skill based. Until next time, and thank you for watching.